9 podcasts.
I really like this bowl. I really like it. Pottery, it's a wonder, isn't it?
Sorry, this bloke is literally looking at a black and white plate and having an emotional meltdown.
Try before you die.
Good golly, Lib, I must say I'm sick of not being asked for ID.
Well, like you're 39 years old.
That shocks me when you say that.
I know. I'm about to turn 37 too.
I'm about to turn 40. Cry me a river.
Not about to. You just turned 39.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of.
In
I'm
10 months.
definitely closer to 39 than 40. But for those listening who are older than me, sorry. You always wish you were as old as the first time you thought you were old.
I know. Oh.
Those signs at Bottle-O's and stuff, they say, or am I making this up? Or maybe I haven't seen it.
They
But
ask
say
if you look
under 25.
Yeah, something like that. So you're offended that people don't think you look under 25 even though you're
sometimes-
39.
Sometimes I think I look early 20s.
Oh, okay.
I act young. My skin is like a baby's bottom, and I'm quite short, which signifies youth, and that I'm still coming of age.
Being short doesn't really signify youth. You can be tall and be 10 years old.
But it's more likely that I'm still growing if I'm short.
Okay, that's absolutely not the case.
I
but
used
sure.
to, and the funny thing is, I used to hate being asked because I do look so youthful.
You
Youthful.
certainly don't look youthful.
And I'm not.
You ain't.
But I do look youthful. I ain't youthful, but I look youthful.
To be fair, both of us get that a lot, that we don't look our age.
Particularly me. So we're growing up. I didn't even bother using fake IDs because I just knew that no one, and I'd be a puss bag about it. I just knew no one would believe me. So I'd be like, yes, sir, I'm of legal age. But I was scared and I wasn't. I twasn't.
Cool. Should we get on to our
Now
challenge
I
this week?
hate being not asked. If you see me, card me in the street. I need a confidence boost after that. How old do you think I look?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
I don't know because I know your age. That's hard for me to say.
You're getting really shitty here.
I'm just bored of this.
I think I look 28 on a bad day.
Okay, cool.
How old do you think you look?
I don't know.
32.
Okay, cool.
On to something a bit more up and about.
Yes, so our try for this week, we tried pottery.
Hell hath frozen over because we have a try that we like. Now, I know you hear that and you think, don't ruin it for me, Eliza, but you need to know this because it was a journey.
I know. And this is so rare for us. I truly think we like about 5% of our tries. That's quite sad, isn't it?
It is. And there's a reason for it.
What's the reason?
Well, because we just don't like doing things.
Do you know what? Isn't that like, I'm not even joking though. We had this conversation and you said to me, why don't you think we like doing any of these? Well, like we go into these expecting that we're not going to like them and we only like the very, very, very rare ones. And I'm like, because I genuinely, and this is so sad, I genuinely just don't like doing things.
I said, why do we go into everything skeptical? Why do we just, we have to do this? Even though pottery sounds lovely, we're like, we have to do this weekend.
Oh, well, for me, it's like, it's the time commitment.
Yes, it was a time commitment.
The thought of it something being boring, so then it's a waste of time.
Yeah, as a thought of bathing, brushing your hair.
I also feel like I go into everything with very low expectations.
Yes.
So if we have something that we like in the end,
It shocks us.
Yeah.
It moves us and it shocks us.
Yeah.
Lib, it's why I'm wearing a heart cardigan today. Go to 9 now and type in Try Before You Die or the YouTube Try Before You Die. If you want to see vision of me in my heart cardigan, it's because we loved the try, and hearts mean love, don't they?
Yes.
It was,
Don't miss seeing Eliza's red heart cardigan, everyone.
it was unexpected how we felt about this.
Yeah.
It's the ones that shock us the most, the ones that we've ended up liking, have actually been the more artistic ones, if
isn't
you think
that
about it.
weird?
The life drawing one we
Yeah.
liked. Because we have this vision of what we think these will be. The word that you used
Was gooby. I picture pottery as a bit of an old person's activity.
Like knitting.
Yeah, bit gooby, bit boring. And we just don't ever really do anything like this, do we? We just don't.
No, we don't express ourselves
No.
creatively.
But people kept messaging us about it, so we thought we have to tick this one off.
And it's always interesting as well. We think pottery, how basic biatch. But they're the ones that we're always most moved by, I feel. And it
Yeah.
always brings us back to this conversation of what's wrong with us that we sit there thinking how much we dislike going out and doing things. I'm also a massive prejudger. I think that's part of the reason that I get so shocked when something is not what I think it is, and I reflect. And these moments always remind me that I need to give things a go.
I know, because I went into it as well being like, who is spending 2 hours on their Saturday doing pottery? Like, who's choosing to do that over doing something else? But then when we've done it, and we'll go into that later when we talk about how we felt afterwards, at the end of it, I sort of, I changed a bit my perspective on it.
We also had a chat, and I think before we went in, about, would you go on a date here? Could there be any blokes here? So then it opened up that whole conversation, and we went in a little bit excited. Maybe we could find our Prince Charming in pottery. Maybe the instructor could be our future husband. So all those questions will be answered for you. What is pottery, Lib?
So I actually did not realise this, but there's 2 types of pottery. So there's wheel throwing, which is what we did. And I don't know, wheel throwing sounds a bit aggressive, but it's basically the potter uses a spinning pottery wheel and shapes the clay with their hands. Symmetrical round forms like bowls, vases, mugs, and plates are what's made in wheel throwing. Now then there's hand building. So this is not using a wheel.
I didn't even know you could do that.
I know. Which I'm like, how does this work? But it's shaped by your hands using techniques like pinching, coiling, which is stacking and smoothing clay ropes, and slab building. This is more used for organic, sculptural, or asymmetrical pieces or decorative work, which not sure ours wasn't super
Ours
symmetrical,
was
but
probably more decorative. I guess it means because it's a bit more rustic.
yeah, totally.
Because the wheel really helps create the symmetry.
Yes, and there's a lot of technique. So pottery is one of the oldest human inventions with evidence of its existence dating back to 29,000 BCE. I had to Google what is BCE.
Yeah.
It's before Common Era or before Current Era.
Because is BC before Christ?
Yeah, before Christ.
Before Christ's era? No, before
Well, that's
Common
not what,
Era.
That's
the
not
Common
what
Era?
AI told me, but I
What's
don't
Common
trust
Era?
AI. I don't know.
Let's not fall down that hole.
Yeah.
I need
So
to.
clay creations were fashioned into basic containers to store essential supplies like food and water. I found this point interesting, which backed up how we felt about this experience. Engaging with pottery provides a unique form of stress relief and mental health support. The act of shaping clay offers an immersive hands-on experience that can aid in reducing anxiety and enhancing concentration. As individuals lose themselves in the art of pottery, they often find a sense of peace and accomplishment, making it a powerful tool for emotional well-being.
Had you read that to me before the class, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
Now that you're reading it to me after the class, I totally agree.
Yes. I actually have a couple more fun facts.
Fun fact.
A couple of these I found on the interwebs, one of which says, clay can be recycled an infinite number of times. It never gets spoiled and gets better with age.
That is a fun fact.
Isn't it? So it's quite sustainable. Ceramics and pottery are the same thing. Ceramics is the medium of which clay is the ingredient. Pottery is the hand skill of working with clay.
Wowee.
And the other one, our instructor gave us. If you don't drop the ceramics, they will very likely outlive you.
That's right, I forgot about that.
I know. That was one of the first facts that she gave us.
That's interesting because I would think they would maybe degrade.
Yeah, they don't. Well, and that kind of makes sense with the whole clay can be recycled an infinite number of times
I suppose
too.
it has to be, though, fired properly.
Yes, I think so. In the right temperatures and all that gear. But we'll get to that down the track.
So there's a show called The Great Pottery Throwdown. It's an English show on Foxtel. It's about the only reality show I've never watched because it sounds horrendously boring.
Oh, good God. But see, this is where our judgment comes in,
Correct.
doesn't it? Boring.
But I liked doing
it,
pottery,
but
but I don't
watching?
know about watching
Yeah.
it. Mind you, I mean, the shows they have out these days, you can make a show about just about anything.
And to be honest, I actually think it could be quite therapeutic and calming.
And then I fell down a hole of Googling, okay, and the things they make, it's actually quite cool.
Yeah,
they don't just
teapots
make
and that
bowls and
gear?
stuff, like even houses and stuff. It's kind of
with
like the Great British Bake Off,
But with
clay. There's different things you can do,
Marvellous.
which there would want to be different things to do. I don't know if that's good English, but I think you get the gist because they've done 8 whole seasons.
8 whole seasons?
8 whole seasons. So there's obviously different things you can do with clay.
And what happens? Is there contestants that dwindle down and they win rounds or whatever?
Amateur
and
potters compete against one another in a pottery competition. So it's just like any other reality
they-
show, like MasterChef.
What
and
do they
shit.
win?
Well, probably money
What's
or,
the
or like
prize money?
a plate or something that they've made.
Yeah.
The one thing I do know about this show, because I think there's been memes made, is that there's a judge who always cries. So his name is Keith Brymer Jones. He's known for frequently crying when moved by the contestants' pottery. Okay, I've got a clip, Liv. It's bloody brilliant.
It's wonderful, Sal. Absolutely brilliant.
Don't make me cry.
I really like this bowl. I really like it. Pottery, it's a wonder, isn't it?
Sorry, this bloke is literally looking at a black and white plate and having an emotional meltdown.
I know, but there's more to pottery than we think. He's like, that judge is like Brickman on Lego Masters. He gets very emotional over
that's true.
Lego constructs. I love the passion. I do the same. I'd probably cry if I was on a cheesecake baking contest show, to be honest.
Well,
I now know, though, why it's called the Pottery Throwdown. I just thought that was another name for sort of, competition. But it's because there's an official term called throwdown, where we really learnt some good lingo.
Yes.
We're very pottery savvy now.
well, what does it mean? What does the
Oh,
throwdown?
sorry.
Did
I
you
thought
want to explain what
I
it
was
is?
handing the floor to you. You're throwing down the clay on the wheel at the start. By the way, my friend messaged me, my friend Jo, and she said, I've never done it with the wheel. I've done the other version that
hand
you
building.
said. And she said the wheel just apparently is so hard. But I think
Way harder than
the other
hand
way
building.
would be the hand building
God,
is
yeah.
way worse. I mean, for sure, it's overwhelming the wheel at first, but you get the hang of it. And then
Yeah.
it's like a really good time.
really
It's like
fun.
going on a roller coaster.
Now, speaking of the emotional instructors, this reminded me because I was thinking, have I ever done anything similar to this? Now, the closest we have come is when we did blacksmithing on the block. We did
my
a
God.
blacksmithing challenge where we had to go to this little blacksmithing studio and come up with a sculpture
Yes.
of which we did a vase or a vase or
Well,
whatever you'd
was
like
it?
to call
No,
it.
you couldn't even put anything in it. You
Yes,
couldn't
you
store
could.
it. It was just a structure.
Sorry, it was a
Liv, you
vase.
couldn't put water in it. We didn't do a vase. We didn't do anything. It was just a structure. I'm telling you, you couldn't put water in it. You couldn't. It wasn't a vase. Why wouldn't we have put flowers in it if it was a
Because-
vase? It wasn't a vase. You couldn't even stand things up because the prongs at the
Yes.
top crossed over.
Okay.
I'm telling you now, it's not a vase. Someone else
Anyway,
made a
you
vase.
could
We
put-
did not make a vase.
You could put water in it because it
You
was
couldn't.
literally a rectangular
No, it
container.
was okay. Okay,
You could
I'm
have
so
put it under the tap and put water in it, could you not?
There was no base. It was hollow. It was a hollow tube. There was no base.
There was a base.
No,
you dumbass.
Angel. No,
there was
Angel.
a base.
No.
We've got it at home. We're going to
No,
clarify
Angel.
this. We will come back to you on this
Oh
next
my
week.
God, Angel.
Oh, I cannot
Angel
wait.
face. Angel
I
face.
cannot wait
Liv.
to get home. It did have a base. It had a bottom.
How would you put flowers in it? If
I
the
didn't
prongs
say
at the
flowers.
top-
I said water.
But what was the point of being able to put water if you can't put flowers in it?
Because you just said the whole point of this was you're saying it doesn't have a base and that you cannot put water in it. It has a base. You can put water in. Anyway,
We
will
did not
circle
make
back.
it as a vase, just FYI. We made it as a structure.
We'll circle back to this next week because Eliza has, let me just put it out there. Eliza has said it cannot have water in it because it doesn't have a base. I can promise you it has a base and you can put water in
Okay,
it.
last question. To store flowers, that's what a vase does. Did you think it
Could
was going to be
absolutely
used as
store
a vase?
flowers because we only had those wire things coming up on two sides. So there's flowers that could sit in the
Oh my God.
opposite sides.
I can't wait for you to try and use this thing as a vase and put water in it.
I can't wait either. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that when we
The
get
moral
home.
of this story is the judge cried when
Thank
he
you.
saw
This is
our
actually
piece.
my story. Can I tell my story?
Go, tell your story.
So we came up with this story and ours was that this is such a load of shit, but we had to make
I believed
something.
in it. I
good
believed
for
in
you.
the meaning
I
behind
didn't, and I
our structure.
Oh, and I particularly don't right now. But it was about sort of being polar opposites and then like doing the block and coming together as sisters. Oh, it was such a wank. Anyway, the instructor got really emotional over ours, started tearing up. Now, we didn't win. But, you know, who cares about winning $10,000 on the block? But he was like,
I cared. Are you being sarcastic?
I'm obviously being sarcastic. But yeah, he got super emotional and was like, I just
was so
love the
torn.
meaning behind this and blah, blah, blah. We were given 5 hours to do this challenge. I reckon this was one of my worst days on the block.
Yeah.
I was catatonic, exhausted. And when they said we had 5 hours, I was like, I'm ready to give up now and give away my 10 grand because I just felt like anus.
There was so much we could have been doing back at the house in those 5 hours.
And we were sitting there with a fire poke trying to make shapes with our vase.
I can't with the vase.
I was joking, and this is not actually funny because there's nothing funny about being burnt by fire, but I was constantly joking about how I wanted to throw myself in the kiln and how I wanted to stab myself with the poker because I was that over it.
You were literally trying to find any way to get out of that scenario. I was having the time of my life because I am creative.
I hated it. And remember they ended up finishing the challenge after about 3 hours because everyone was just so over it. And I think everyone had just put up their hands and been like, we don't care who wins. Can we just be done with this shit?
Yeah. And they all did look like absolute shit. And
They
we had to
looked like
all
anus.
store them or display them in the
our
room
house.
that week. And it was in our living room. So
We were like, we're not going to sell the house based on the fact
Yeah.
that this vase is in here.
I think we put it in the cupboard for inspections. But yeah, it was the ugliest piece of shit. But the judge really was like, I'm so torn of who should win. The girls with their sisterly love structure that could never be used as a vase,
and that has a base.
or who
That
won
you
in
could
the
put
end.
water
I can't
in.
even remember, but theirs was
Leah and Ash, theirs was very
theirs
good.
was actually semi-okay.
Yeah.
So
But we actually ended up taking it home with us.
yeah,
if
only
anyone
because
wants,
it's a lol.
if anyone wants a structure
That isn't a
looks like a
vase.
vase that's got a base and that you can put water in,
That can't be used as a
contact us.
vase.
It can, I promise you.
Maybe
anyway.
we should sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
No one's going to want that gear, especially if it can't be used as a vase. Did you think you'd be good at it?
No, I didn't because
pottery,
I am not a creative type. I'm much more sporty, analytical, spreadsheety, all that kind of gear. I'm not.
Since when?
I'm not sporty. I'm not analytical. Like I'm not spreadsheety. I'm not organised. What?
Maybe.
I'm more that way than creative. What are you
Analytical
talking about?
seems
You're creative.
spreadsheety.
I thought that you would be good at this because you're creative and artistic. Did
I'd
you?
say you're more health and fitness, not analytical and spreadsheety, you know? And do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Is this just like bash down Liberty Day?
I
I
just
feel
like make sure the correct facts are reported. What were we? Sorry, what
Do you think you were going to be good at it? Yes, I thought I was going to be great at it because I'm so artsy and
Do you know
creative
what
and I'm
else?
so wonderful and everything.
Do you know what else? You get the impatience demon like you are now. You get the demon.
Yeah, because I'm so impatient with you because you drive me fucking insane.
You get the impatience demon. Lib can't deal with things for more than sort of half an hour at a time, so she gets the demon and just wants to throw herself
Well, guys,
into kilns.
imagine trying to deal with Eliza for more than half an hour. You're going to get the impatience demon.
I'm extremely artistic, so I anticipated that I'd absolutely thrive. I won several art awards at school, including our main major Year 12 art award. In fact, my art was then displayed in the State Museum. It was that excellent.
Wasn't it a paper mache crab?
No, it was the... I just can't... I feel
It was a paper mache
dismissed.
crab and a paper mache grasshopper. That's what you made.
I've created 2 artworks. I think the one that actually went into the museum was
the crab.
the painting. Or maybe it was... So what happened was I made giant lifelike paper mache crab and grasshoppers, which I think we've actually shown photos on our socials before, but then I photographed them in situ. So the crab at the beach, etc. And I made them look real. So it looked like a real scurrying crab at the beach. And the actual...
Oh, you think it looked real?
Shut
did
your
you?
mouth. The end presentation was these photos where you think it's a real crab and then you see on the wall the original giant paper mache. Liv's giving me
People
rolling
would
her
have
eyes.
got the shock of their lives to realise that grasshopper and the
Well-
crab in the pictures weren't real.
Well, I mean,
the
the art
paper
prize
mache
speaks
insects.
for the art prizes speak for themselves. I was and quite am gifted. I need to revisit this gift because I could be Picasso reincarnate, and we just don't know. Although,
Isn't that funny though that all the arts, like the nude life drawing, mine was way better
Yes.
than yours.
So that's what I'm conflicted about. I assumed I'd be exceptional with life drawing and I was rubbish. I think I had the ability in me to be fair, but I think I just got in my head too much. There was too much pressure knowing that I am very
So good.
gifted, and I just felt like everyone was looking at me like, what's she going to produce here? And
Yeah, everyone at Nude Life Drawing knew you were good at art, and they were all looking at you being like, what's she going to produce here?
But do you know-
all of the actual artists
Do you know
that were
what I-
there doing the
and the
advanced class, which is what we did.
And the nude person themselves is like, I can tell she has gift inside her.
Yep.
But I think as well, for me, I'm abstract. I think that's what I've honed in on. I'm an abstract artiste. So real life things I struggle with.
That's like a bit of a cop-out though, because I feel like abstract can be literally anything. You could throw clay against the wall and be like, oh, that's my art,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
abstract.
yeah.
So what an absolute cop-out.
Well, you have to be open to the artistic world to be able to see art in art. And right now, you're not open to it. So that's
it's not that I'm not open to it. I just know that I'm shit at it. So I don't have any
with
expectations
that
of
attitude,
myself.
you will be. What have we talked about manifesting?
Not art. I don't care if I'm good at art or not.
How did we find this place, Liv?
I Googled pottery in Melbourne. And this gorgeous little studio, and I'm going to name it because it was really, really gorgeous, was called Terra Potter Studios. And this is in South Melbourne. So it was quite, well, I won't say near where we live, but I don't want to give away where we live. But it wasn't too far. And it was very aesthetically pleasing, the website. And that always gets me right sucked in.
Everything about it was aesthetically pleasing.
So this was a 2-hour introduction to wheel throwing. And the description was students will be guided through the basics of wheel throwing and can develop a sense of what it would be like to be a potter.
And that we did. We did experience what it is
absolutely
like
did.
to be a potter. Now, we paid. This isn't
No, yeah, absolutely.
This isn't a plug or anything. And had we hated it, we wouldn't have mentioned the name.
Yeah.
But because we have mostly positive things to say,
Yeah.
we will give credit where credit is due.
And we got the last 2 spots left, and that was booking a week out. And they're always booked out, this place.
Yes.
So you've got to get in if you want to go. And
Did
they
you-
actually do as well term classes. So you can do, where you do like 4 or 5 classes, and I guess you just get better at it each time.
Did you say how much it was?
It was $100.
$100 each.
Yeah.
And you get to walk away with one item
Yeah.
that you make. We made more than one item, and you could
Then
pay
pay.
extra
Yeah.
to keep your items. Not heaps, but yeah, we
We thought, why wouldn't we take our beautiful,
beautiful
items home
creations with us
to
yes.
our hoard den,
to our hoarders
and where we have
nightmare house.
nowhere to put it?
Yes.
And yeah, great idea.
But yeah, it was 2 hours. I can't remember
Yeah.
whether you said
Yes,
that.
I did.
So top of mind, I'm thinking that's a long
That is a
time on
long
our precious Saturday.
Yeah. Now, we were sitting in the car before going in, and I thought, I'm just going to jump on the website, make sure we're in the right spot. And I'd clicked on the frequently asked questions, which stated, please come with short fingernails and wear clothes you don't mind getting clay on, or bring a towel/apron to pop on your lap.
Well, we didn't have aprons, and I looked probably the cutest I've looked on a Saturday in ages because we were going to brunch afterwards.
Yep,
with friends.
and the markets.
And the markets.
And I have just about the longest fingernails you've ever seen. Not only are they just long anyway, but they were so grown out, I was due to get them done again, that they were flimsy, long, hanging by threads. So I was wearing my best Lululemon tights as well. So wow, the nail thing though, turns out that is make or break.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Long nails was almost our
Yeah.
downfall,
Yeah.
as it turns
Yeah.
out. But what's really important is reading things prior to doing things. That's what's important. Reading things, preparing.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And you could have
Yeah.
jumped on the website, couldn't you?
I
and
didn't
read
even
it?
know where we were going.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should tap in a bit more and contribute.
But do you know what? Even if I'd read that, I would have worn more appropriate clothes, but I wouldn't have cut my nails.
Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not going
I'll
to
just
cut
make it
my
work.
nails for 2 hours on a Saturday.
So we walk in and we're one of the first groups to arrive. As Lib said, so aesthetically pleasing, and the smell was calming. Everything
Smelled
about it
like
was
clay.
it was just but it was a calming clay smell. Do you know what I mean?
It was
just wasn't-
cold.
It wasn't like walking into the cat cafe.
Well, yeah, no shit. I mean, couldn't get worse than that.
There was no cats in that organisation.
yeah.
We had a lovely instructor teacher called Rachel.
Oh my God,
she was
magnificent.
just the perfect
Yep.
person for that job.
Yep.
She was calming, so she matched the environment. she was funny. I also found her funny.
And she also embraced our humour.
Yes.
She
got
laughed at us.
She was engaging and
She made jokes back.
she tried to be encouraging
Yes.
as well, even though you could tell that she was just like, thinking in her head that potentially we're a lost cause. She still gave us encouragement.
I know. So
By the way, she's been doing pottery
Yeah.
for 5 years
Yeah.
and working as a teacher for 1.
Yeah.
She definitely had skills.
She was bloody good. Now, you walk in and there's this big table and there truly was about, I reckon, 200 balls of clay. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, surely we are not going to be using all these balls.
We
Surely
did get
not.
through a lot of ballage.
We did. We played with the balls.
As Lib mentioned, we're doing a beginner's class, but you can do more advanced classes. What we also loved finding out about this place, the owner lives up the top. So
Yeah,
she's
how cute.
converted, she lives upstairs and she's converted the downstairs into a studio or
So
whatever pottery
cute.
areas are called.
So I think there was 8 spots in the class because there was 8 of us there and it was all full because it was
Yes.
obviously booked out. And we all had our little own table, little station with our wheel, which had sort of a plastic bucket around it to catch all the water and the clay, etc. And then we had a bowl of water with a sponge and some wire.
The wheel was sort of, sitting in this almost sink-like thing, a giant toilet,
Yeah.
so that when it spins, it catches the glue.
Yeah. So the people that were there, there was 5 women, so 2 lots of 2 friends.
Yes.
So, which was really nice. You could tell they'd just come for a fun little experience. And then there was a mum and a son. Unfortunately for you, no eligible bachelors,
No.
although there was one, I would say, eligible bachelor, but he was 11 years old and he was there with his mum.
So he's definitely not an eligible bachelor. But he was a sweet angel.
He was very sweet.
So-
How cute, a little boy going with his mum.
and
to
he
pottery.
loved it. He absolutely
Didn't he? He really
loved it.
got around it. He was really trying.
Tell you what, though, I would have found it attractive if there was a man in there doing pottery.
Very much so.
So just a hot tip if you're a single bachelor. Actually, this is a great tip. Do we have a hot tip, Sting?
Ooh, hot tip.
Hot tip. If you're a man who wants to pick up chicks, come to a pottery class.
Yeah, truly. Because it's all just groups of friends that go along and women. Females.
Yeah, and I'd say single women because
And also seeing a male that, knows what to do with their hands.
yes, exactly. Items that we could make. Jugs, plates, cups,
Bowls.
Yeah, but do you know what was quite
That's about it.
I don't know, candle holders, vases.
You could really just make anything and pretend it's
Actual
something.
vases that aren't structures, actual vases that hold water and flowers.
And that have bases that you can put water in like ours. There was actually a lady who made a wooden spoon holder.
But do you
People
know-
got creative.
But do you know what the funny thing is? You'd go in saying, I'm going to make this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a beautiful, big, deep coffee cup. And then you'd spin it and you'd mold it. And then you'd be like, maybe it's more of a sort of pasta bowl. Or
Yeah.
I think at one point someone was trying to make something. They go, oh, look, maybe I'll store my wasabi peas in
Yeah,
this.
someone goes, I've made a wasabi pea bowl. And I was like, that is so specific.
Yeah, I think because you just like nothing ever turned out how you wanted it to. So you'd have to like
Just
adapt
to
the shape.
You'd have to be a bit reactive.
We both wanted to make big ass soup bowl sized mugs.
So, I like coffees of all different sizes
Yes.
for depending on my mood or the occasion or whatever. Because often in the morning I'll have a little black coffee, which is just a couple of shots. So I wanted to make like a little cup, and then I'll then have a cappuccino. So I just wanted like a normal size, and then I wanted a bowl. I
you wanted a cup
bowl for
family.
I wanted a cup family for all my different types of coffees that I have. One for a very, very large cappuccino.
Okay. So I wanted to make a very large one as well for my latte.
Copycat.
For my latte. And then a medium-sized latte. And then a vase. That is an actual vase. But what
Does it have a base at the bottom? Can you put water in
it does. It does. It actually holds
probably got
water
holes in it, to be
And
fair.
it doesn't have something covering the enclosure. So you can actually put flowers in it.
That's a shame.
Rachel, our lovely instructor, she did a demo. Now, this is when I started to freak out.
Oh, but everyone was we were all looking at each other while she was doing the demo and like giggling.
I did not expect what took place. It is it's complicated.
And sexual.
It's sexual and it's complicated. And there's a real art to it. And so much can go wrong.
Oh, there's a full 5-step process.
My head actually exploded. I was like, maybe I'm not going to be that good
made
at
for this. I know. It actually made me more nervous.
Yes, I wasn't. Yes, same. I just looked at her at one point and I announced to the class, I think I might actually be terrible at this gear.
Eliza did quite a lot of announcements to the class
I did
throughout the whole day.
Because I'm not patient. I'm more patient than you, obviously. I don't get the impatience demon. But I'm not that sort of dainty or delicate. And I like perfectionism, and I just felt like, I feel like I might not master this, so I might quit while I'm ahead.
Oh, God, you're very, very passionate about this.
Yes, I'm very
Jeez
passionate.
Louise.
So Liv mentioned 5 steps. What are the steps?
So I'm just going to try and make this quite short. So it's preparing the clay. So you get your clay in this big ball and you throw it on the wheel and try and get it as close to the center of the wheel as possible.
And I think you're throwing it because you want it to stick.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
want
was
it to
just like,
stick.
why can't you just place it heavily?
Yes, because then you have to, a crucial step is, I don't know how to say it, but pushing the
clay down around the
yes.
edges, like you're making a pastry
Yes.
and sealing the edges.
That
was good, Eliza.
To make sure that it sticks, because it's absolutely critical that you get centered with the clay.
Yes. So you
in
throw
order to
it,
make
spring it to the center,
Yep.
and then you push down the edges. Now, the instructor Rachel said, if you put the wheel on after doing those steps and it doesn't fly off,
Yep.
then you're winning. She said, and when we started and we all did that and the wheel cranked,
Yep.
she looked around and she's like, great, nobody's clay has maimed anyone.
Yep.
And I was thinking, oh my God. So what happens? The clay must fly
fling
off into people's faces.
and that would actually hurt because this
A
is
lot.
some heavy gear. This
But if
is
it
some
flew
heavy
off
clay.
into your face, just do a quick clay mask. Why didn't we think of that?
Oh,
We should have done
we
a
should have
clay
done a
mask
clay
while we
mask
were there.
session.
Genius.
Oh, all right. And so, but that process is also when you center it. So you got to sort of bring it up into a cone and then bring it back down into a scone. So it's called coning and sconing.
That's the next step.
No, the next step is
I thought that was
opening the
next
clay.
because that sounds like a step where you
Well, no,
throw
it's
it, you pull
centering.
it, and then you
It's
cone and
no.
scone.
I've AI'd
Okay.
Chat GPT'd the
Right,
steps.
yep.
So preparing the clay and centering the clay. That's the first one.
Right.
The second one is opening the clay. So once centered, a hole is made in the center using your fingers, and this creates like a hollow form for your little pot.
As Rachel called it, sinking the well, I
Sinking
think.
the well, correct.
Now, there's also something called potter's posture. So you
Yes.
must sit a certain way with your elbows on your knees.
Yes, and sit forward, which did quite hurt our backs.
It did. We did come away. That's the one negative I will say.
Yeah.
I did have a sore lower back. Having said that, often there were times when Rachel was moving past me and she would look over and say, potter's posture, you're not doing it properly. So
Yeah.
it could be that I'm doing it wrong, which is more likely because I feel like potters are doing this all day, every day. And they can't just always have sore backs.
exactly.
There's some wobbling that happens, and Rachel said, "Oh, good God! If you get the wobbles, call me immediately." And by God, did I get wobbles?
Yeah. Didn't we all?
So after sinking the well, what are we doing?
We do shaping the clay. So this
Yes.
involves using your hands to manipulate the clay. So essentially it's almost like pinching. So you pinch.
like a crab claw.
Yeah, crab claw. So you pinch your thumb on the outside and 2 fingers in the middle, and you sort of very, very, very slow. She made it clear. Slow motion, essentially, you have to do this.
So we have to put the spinning wheel on 50%.
50%.
Other
So
times we're on 100.
I don't think we flagged. There is, in fact, a pedal.
Yes.
So if you put your foot fully down, it's on 100%, and then obviously you take it off a bit and you get to your 50%, which is what you
Finding-
do for the shaping of the clay.
Finding the right tempo is so
Oh,
hard.
it is touchy magutchy.
I reckon it would be like learning to drive a manual car
Yes.
where you're just like,
Yep, 100%.
You
But
can
it's
also-
it's vital.
it's vital. It is almost the most vital part, including having short nails, because sinking the well was like digging a hole, and you don't want to dig a hole to the bottom. And each time we dug holes to the bottom
yep.
and had to get Rachel to fix our wells.
Yep.
But also, Lib, you can use Spider-Man hands, not
Yes.
just crab claws. And that's like when how Spider-Man pushes out his web, like flicks out his web.
So
I felt like a bloody superhero.
yeah, so in slow motion, you basically just like pull your fingers upwards instead of down again to get your desired shape and thickness.
And height.
And height. So then step 4 is refining the shape. So after you've sort of got that, you then can make it into the proper shape you want. So, we wanted our really big bowl kind of cup. So then you sort of push the edges out so you get your proper shape.
Now, there's parts here that we didn't do right because my hands were caning. So I was, yes, And I asked about this. I said, should my hands be hurting on the little finger side? Because I was trying to rest my hands around the creation and shape it, but I was pushing too heavily down on the wheel. So the wheel's spinning against my hands. I'm exfoliating the skin off my hands. So blood, the clay was becoming the colour of blood.
And also little flecks of skin.
Little flecks of
the
skin,
clay.
which you don't notice, to be honest, because the clay is the colour
Skin
of
colour.
skin. So it all worked out okay in the wash, but we will be sipping our own skin.
Yeah, but honestly and
when
truly,
the items are done.
not only could you do a clay mask at this joint, but you could exfoliate your hands.
Yes.
And if you did this time and time again, your hands would just be grated.
Well, the lady, Rachel, did say you are pushing too hard against the wheel, which is creating this sandpaper motion because it has like ribs in it, the wheel. But Rachel actually had gloves on because she said she had existing injuries. And I thought, may I please have some gloves?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually
Why didn't we
forgot to
get gloves?
verbalise that. But that's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah, very true. Now, step 5 is just finishing. So this involves trimming the excess clay from the base, ensuring the stable base so you can put water in your vase. The piece,
Must be nice.
The piece is then allowed to dry before bisque firing, glazing, and a final glaze firing.
So one thing Rachel did say was, breathing's important. Exhale as you go. It's very meditative.
Technical, yeah.
And just there's a will to the way.
There is, isn't there?
There's an art to the art.
Art.
To the art. There's a will to the way. There's a.
Yep.
What am I trying to say?
I
Do you understand what I'm
can't
trying
find
to say?
anything more to say.
So was it called a water slide or something where you have to create a water slide to try and cut the clay off and then glide it off?
Yeah.
Gliding's not the technique that was used on my
It was
wheel.
more so
And like chopping off the bottom accidentally and taking off big chunks. And Rachel said sometimes it takes one go to get off the clay. Sometimes it takes 20. Well, of course, it took me about
us 50.
20 each time. Yeah, we set new records for that. Steph.
I must say, I excelled greatly at the cone.
You did a good cone.
But then I flunked considerably on the scone.
I was no good at coning nor sconing.
Were you good at anything about the day?
I was really good for bringing the vibes. I'm not going to lie. I did. You've got to admit, as much as you hated me bringing vibes,
You just made yourself known all the time as per usual.
We have a metric ton of clay out the back, Rachel said. So rest assured, if you stuff up, there's plenty more where that came from because, as you aforementioned, the clay is recycled. Now, a metric ton is also... Oh, I just spat quite heavily on it. Might want to disinfect this microphone, Jem. I just spat on it. So a metric ton, also known as a ton is a unit of mass equal to 1,000 kilograms or approximately 2,204.62 pounds.
Thank you.
That was a really fun fact. They used the recycled clay over and over again. No wastage, sustainability, environment
Recycling.
consciousness. And as you said, it almost looks more loved and organic the more used it is.
Because it does have different tones. Like you could get one that was like purely sort of skin colour, but then there'd be other ones that had a bit of red in it and things like that as well.
Funny you say skin colour because that could be someone's skin in there that
probably
they've used.
is.
And then the more red could be someone's
blood.
blood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't be thrown by that, pardon the pun.
It was equal parts super calming and therapeutic as it was very frustrating because you'd be good at one thing and you'd get it to a good place and then you'd be shit house at the next.
But you have to remind yourself that I'm here for a nice time. Don't get too worked up. But there was a lot of pressure because I really wanted to create myself a beautiful cup that would live with me forever.
I did too. Or that we could gift our parents
for Christmas if they turned out rubbish.
Yeah.
They were going to get the defects. Lib, there were lots of sexual
innuendos
that I did not expect.
Can I tell you my favourite?
Yes.
The squishing noise when you got the water, because you always had to ensure that your hands were wet and then you would squish it sort of into the clay.
Do the noise with your mouth.
I will in a sec, but I'll tell you what it sounded like. It sounded like you're cleaning your vagina in the shower.
You're soaping your vagina. I mean, I think you're not supposed to actually use soap on your vagina because you've got to keep the pH level. Do you use soap on your vagina?
Hell is not soaping their genitals.
You've got to make sure it's pH balanced soap. Are you kidding?
Are you kidding?
Oh my God.
No wonder your vagina stinks so much.
Shut up. That's a lie. To all the eligible men out there, I do not have a stinky vagina.
Bit fishy.
In fact, sometimes I've asked you to smell just to make sure.
Bit smoked salmon.
Not with clothes. I've just asked you to take a sniff in my general direction to make sure there's nothing.
There ain't no way I'm getting my head in your flaps.
No, but pH balance important. when cleaning vagina is what I'm Googling. I'm telling you, you've got to keep the pH.
While you Google this, I'm going to do the noise.
Maintaining vaginal pH balance is crucial for vaginal health. A healthy vaginal pH is slightly acidic, between 3.8 and 4.5, which helps prevent the overgrowth of harmful bacteria and yeast, thus reducing the risk of infections. When cleaning, it's important to avoid harsh soaps and douches, as these can disrupt the natural pH balance.
Well, I never use harsh soaps. I always use Cetaphil and stuff like that. That's got nothing in it.
Make sure you
It's for
check the
sensitive
pH.
skin.
Make sure you check the pH. I should be checking the smell of your vagina by the sound of it.
Okay. Anyway, the sound was like this. That was the sound that
I don't
we were
think we even
hearing
did it that,
for
but
the
it just
entire
sounds like
time.
you're soaping up
It was
your
much
vajutson.
more sort of moisty.
Yeah.
And there was also a lot of fingering the clay.
Fingering the clay, you're going deep with the clay.
And don't touch the bottom.
You're getting the clay really wet.
Yeah,
And
moist.
at one point, when you were trying to make a scone, I said, Lib, yours looks like a nipple, lol.
And Rachel, our lovely instructor, said, if it looks like a nipple, you're doing it right.
I was shocked. I was trying to bring you down. I said, yours looks like a nipple. You failed. And Rachel said, well, in fact, it looking like a nipple is effective and what you actually want to achieve, which brought me right back down in my spot, didn't it?
Now, my worst moment was when I flung so much clay shit on the lady next to me and she was wearing these Solomon shoes. Now,
What's a Solomon
I'll
shoe?
tell you because I know because our little sister has some. They're
of
very,
course she does.
very expensive hiking shoes, but now they're cool to just wear on the daily. And
Hiking shoes in
yes,
pottery.
they're actually hiking shoes.
Why does our sister have them? She doesn't go hiking.
No, but they're, as I aforementioned, which you obviously zoned out for,
Yeah, I did,
what's
I do.
new, is that they become cool just to wear around. I think Jen has some, don't you, Jen? Yeah, they're like cool.
Show me
They're
them next
streetwear
time.
now.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, so they're not hiking shoes then. They're streetwear.
And this gear, this remnants looks like diarrhea, does it
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
So I'd flung
Diarrhea
so
on
much diarrhea.
You
on
may
this
as well have
poor
bent
lady
over
next to me.
and shat
I know,
on her,
it's truly
on
and I was
her
like,
hiking shoes.
And then I kept breaking the dumb bowl that sits around the
toilet
wheel.
bowl.
So I was trying to clean it, and as Eliza said, "Oh, you always go like a bullet a gate or whatever." But I was just trying to do my due diligence with cleaning
No,
properly.
I was so embarrassed. You just kept on flinging stuff everywhere. You're like a bull in a china shop. You have to, it's like you're cooking and you drop shit, you fling shit.
because
stuff
who
goes in
has
drawers.
time to waste in being careful?
Oh, we had 2 hours, brother. Like, just be calm. We're in someone else's space.
I needed to make my coffee cup set.
So anyway, it was embarrassing. And at one point, yes, you broke the whole basin. And I was like, oh my God, it's like I brought my child. It was, I'm so sorry about her. But also as well, like, it's hard not to laugh because they're saying things like throw it down good and we're giggling like little schoolgirls. And at first, everyone sort of felt uncomfortable to giggle. And then when I think they saw us giggling, they joined us in the giggles.
It was seriously the people. We were just laughing the whole time with the people next to us.
And I also felt like, if I'm quite honest, everyone was laughing at our banter between ourselves and also at the things that I was saying. I felt like I was doing a stand-up comedy routine. I felt
That
like
is
I was
what
in
it
my
seemed
zone.
like because
Yes.
you just like make it so well known that you're in the room and you have to be so loud for everything and you have to make points of everything.
really
and
enjoyed
You
myself.
can't just be in silence. The attention always has to be on you.
But we were arguing because I was so embarrassed about you breaking things and flinging things, and I'd be rolling my eyes and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Oh my God, like just ignore her.
And then
She's
I'd be
terrible.
like doing the same thing, being like, "Oh, just ignore everything she's saying because it's so embarrassing. Everything that comes
Eliza,
out of her mouth."
Shut up. And everyone was looking at us laughing and they're like, "Oh, I take it you girls are sisters. Like, do you have a podcast?" And we're like, "As it happens, we actually do." And we've done stand-up comedy, would you believe? We are just naturals
Yeah,
at that.
would you bloody
and
believe
our Instagram is Eliza and Liberty. Now, you would be listening to this thinking she's joking. Am I joking?
You are
not
joking.
joking. That is what actually took place.
So Eliza walked out being like, "Oh, no worries, got us a few new followers and a
I
few more
did
listeners."
Some stunning networking gear. You're welcome, Liberty. So how do you think we went overall?
Look, I think we tried our hardest. I think we didn't give up.
Yes.
And I actually think we made some good gear.
I needed Rachel a lot. I needed a lot of help. I wanted her to do the final step in everything, just
there
for
was,
real.
There was a lot of times
polish
she
some
came around
turds.
and she'd be like, do you mind if I just like take over
Yeah.
for quite some time?
Yes.
I'll be
She's
like,
do you mind if I just grab your hands and just like fix this piece of
Please,
shit?
please,
That's not what she
Rachel.
said, but that's what she was thinking. At one point I said, oh God, I need your help, Rachel. This is an absolute dog's breakfast. She said, oh yes. Bit wonky, isn't it? You know, bless her. She was trying to be, you know,
I
she's
know,
like, oh, you've tried,
encouraging.
you know. But yeah, I think we were probably top of the class, if I'm quite honest.
Like, looking at all this, because what you do is you take all your structures off and you put them on this one big long tray. And when you looked at all of them, I reckon ours was up there. I must say, the little boy, look, I mean, he was young.
He
but
showed his age and what he
made
created.
some
An
dogs,
inexperience.
breakfasto, plates that looked like a dented frisbee.
Yeah, it did look. Actually, maybe that's
Maybe
what he was going
making
for.
a dented ceramic frisbee.
Yeah, and look, if he's listening, first of all, you probably shouldn't be. It's not maybe for your age.
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
But we did give everyone our podcast and Instagram details. So if you're listening, the whole point of life is to try, and you
Absolutely.
tried. I just maybe wouldn't show anyone what you created.
I'll give it to your grandparents for Christmas.
They
They'll
did
love it.
assure us they would give some BTS TLC to our creations. They
Yes.
sort of cut off the dags on the bottom.
Yeah,
There was
there's
a lot of dag
dags,
gear.
a lot of dags, a lot of dingleberries hanging
But
off.
ones that had come out of the kiln. Because there were people coming in to collect their items. Because what shocked me was actually the time that it then takes once you finish. You have to allow 6 to 8 weeks for your item to be ready.
Oh my God.
Now,
Yes.
So people were coming in and picking up their creations. And at one point, Rachel stopped the class and said, this is Gary or whatever his name was. He was my star pupil. And he was like, this is my creation. Oh my God, it was crap.
It looked like he'd done the hand building version.
Yes,
which is a
didn't
bit
it?
asymmetrical.
Yes. I was like, is that supposed to be...
A deformed.
Is that your defaulted version? That your defected version?
Was that your practice version?
Was that your practice version? Was that your? What did I say? Is the art that I'm good at more abstract?
Abstract.
I was like, are you aiming for abstract? Are you going to?
Maybe he was.
Maybe he was, or maybe he was creating a wasabi pea bowl.
Maybe he
because I think
was.
that's what it was maybe best for. I tried to make. I'm happy with my giant soup
Yep.
bowl latte thing. I'm happy with my medium-sized latte cup, but I will say my vase, I'm not proud of it. I bought it nonetheless because I didn't want to leave one item alone or what. You can't leave a man. What's the saying? You can't just leave one man on the field. Is there a saying?
Wow.
You got to take every man with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Is there
that's
a
the
saying
saying.
like that where you can't?
No,
You can't. No man left behind.
Oh,
Thank you, Jen.
God, your poor ears.
There is no man left behind in the pottery world, and so I therefore have taken all my children. You can't
I feel
have a
quite
favourite child.
strongly in that it could have been left behind.
Okay, we might go to mum and dad for Christmas.
Yeah, I think so. We were the dirtiest by an absolute
Oh
country
my
mile.
God. Especially you.
No word of a lie. It looked like someone had come in with a paintball gun and
Yeah.
shot clay at me.
100%.
I was so bloody dirty. And like you said, we had to go to brunch after and to the markets and to the supermarket. And
Now-
I was just covered in diarrhea. It looked
was
like I'd shat myself.
Yeah, no, do you know what it was like? It was like you were doing a colonic
Yeah,
on yourself
myself.
because you overshat the tube,
Yeah.
and it was like you colonicked your own
Yeah.
self. We had to, because I actually, and I'm not proud of myself for this, but I said, how do we ensure that our piece is known to be our piece? Because as we aforementioned, our pieces were better than everyone else's. They were way more symmetrical. We just cared a little bit more, I think. The people in the class were lovely, but they were there for sort of lols. We were there for some decent artwork. So I said, look, lovely Rachel, how do I make sure, and I said this loudly because we all needed to be on the same page, that I don't end up with someone else's piece of shit. I was like, look, I love all your efforts here, guys, but I don't want your blobs.
Yeah.
So she said we write our names and we pop them in each of the cups. So, yeah, that was the
You felt
process.
at ease.
I felt at ease knowing that I wasn't going home with Sarah's
You were going home with
piece
your
of
own
crap.
blob.
With my own unique blob that was more symmetrical than Sarah next to me's blob. But not that, I don't know her name was Sarah. They
Now-
all tried. Everyone tried.
In order to make this experience a little more fun and interesting, we had decided that before we went into the pottery class, that when we went into the pottery class, we were going to reenact the scene from Ghost.
And who was going to have to ask me? Because I'm the one that always has to do the uncomfortable gear.
Absolutely.
Now, we were cutting it fine because there was another class coming,
Yeah.
and Rachel said, start to pack up. So I was really panicking, and I was like, we have not taken this photo, and I was really trying to get up the nerve. And I said, oh, Miss Rachel, do you think we could maybe ask you for a photo? And she was covered in crap. Everyone was covered in crap.
Shit all over her hands.
And so, like, she had to clean her hands. It was this big production. I said, are we able to please reenact the scene from Ghost? Oh, my God.
And
like, we're dying.
And she said, I have been waiting for this day. She's like, in my 3 years, no one has ever done this or asked me to do this.
And she's like, I've always wanted someone to ask. I cannot believe you're the first people that have ever asked.
And I was like, I can.
You have made my life. I added in that bit.
But
I
also,
added in the life
the funniest bit was the lady sitting next to me and her friend. They turned around and they said, oh, that's so funny because me and my friend actually joked about doing that before we came in. But then we thought, oh, no, a bit too embarrassing.
It's like we couldn't possibly ask something so embarrassing. We were like, leave it to us.
Yeah.
So we set ourselves up and we did the ghost scene pottering together, and it was uncomfortable, but boy, did we get the shot.
Oh, did we get the shot?
Go to our Instagram and you will be filled with joy and secondhand embarrassment.
Absolutely.
So then we did the photo, and I was still faffing about with mine, and Rachel said, look, time's up. Eliza, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up and,
just fix it for you.
And get cleaning.
I'll polish your turd.
Because you are faffing about. So Rachel did get to know me quite quickly and the type of person I was. And in the meantime, Lib's cleaned up and ready to go and rolling her eyes. Lib, would you go on a date there?
I'd go on a girls' date. I think it would be good for like a bit of a pottery and piss up type of scenario.
A potter and sip situation.
But I'm not sure about a date. A bit too many sexual noises for me. The inability to touch or text someone if you are hating the date and you need, a way out.
I think a third date could really work.
Maybe.
I think it could be fun on not a bucks, because I think men are too impatient. No offense, I am generalizing. And they are wanting to just like chug beers, aren't they? Again, generalizing. But I think as a civilized start to a hens could be enjoyable.
Maybe.
Or I just think as a girlfriend afternoon.
Me too. That's the key.
I just, think it was a wonderful.
Me
I
too.
felt wonderful walking out.
I felt calm and relaxed and positive, and
Rachel was wonderful.
Yeah.
And she actually said, maybe we should turn this into a speed
dating.
dating
Yep.
situation. So you're not at the pub, but there is that. How are you speed dating? You sit across for each other across the wheel and
But then
you
maybe you're
joining
holding
hands
hands together.
I don't want someone
No,
holding my
neither.
hands who I'm not interested in. So look, Rachel, I see you. I see your speed dating idea, but I think it's more for a third date. I actually asked our followers, would you or have you gone on a pottery date? And the general consensus was that it was a great date idea. So this is what a few people said. Yes, I went with my now husband. Good for the artsy types. Then we had someone say, you can see how they use their hands, which is true. And if they're comfortable looking silly
that's
or,
true.
or
Yeah,
being
getting shit
challenged
on themselves.
new at something and maybe not being good at it, it can show people's shades. How they cope, how they respond, if they're open to things. I think that's a really interesting point. It brings out the best and worst of you. With my husband, and if that counts, this lady said, was super fun, doing it again soon. And then this person said, I think it'll highlight any anger issues. Yes, it did highlight your impatience demon, Lib. Never done it as a date. It's bloody hard, but would be a good laugh and icebreaker. So I agree with that. It is an icebreaker, and you can just not chat.
Yeah,
At
agreed.
certain times and just focus.
Agreed.
Even and if you're off put by this person, you should be like, oh, it's not.
Yeah, you've got
I just
another
need to
interest to
focus.
talk about.
It is risky because you are there for 2 hours, like you said, but it really will show the character of a human. Would you rather die or try again, Lib?
Look, I would absolutely do it again. I loved it. We made some new friends. We probably will never see them again, but it was so lovely to meet them.
No,
Definitely again.
The new friends we made
Well,
now
they follow
follow us on
yes,
Instagram,
but that doesn't mean
and
we'll
be
see them again.
listening to this podcast. I actually think that helped make the experience.
Me
They were
too.
they understood us. They were our people. They
Yeah.
got us. They were fun. They were there for the same reasons as us. The only slight negative, I don't think we were doing the potter's posture that correctly, so we had a bit of a sore back. I'm actually considering, Lib, do we look at getting a wheel at home?
Yeah, no, that's one step too far.
No, well, at Big W, you can buy one for $199.99, or we can invest in one from Ceramix Australia for $1,899.95. Look at them, Lib. They just look compact.
Oh, how wonderful.
They
You can
sit
buy
in the
that.
spare room.
I won't be investing my money into that.
So the last thing I'll say, highly recommend, fun for everyone of all ages and creativity. Lib isn't artistic or creative, and she did just fine. So that's got to give
Probably
you
better
a
than you.
that's going to make you feel
We'll take some
good.
pictures of the finished product in a few weeks down the track, and you guys can be the judge.
Oh, and also pre-kiln.
Pre-kiln.
We'll show you pre-kiln because you'll only get pre-kiln as you're listening to this. But if you've tried something because of us, let us know. If you're going to try pottery because of us, let us know. Oh, try Hard Hall of Fame. Good try.
Yes, well done. Well done. All right, Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not going to, this is anonymous because she's asked to be anonymous. Big hello to my favourite podcast girls. Had to share with you this funny story of what just happened. I was listening to your latest podcast on my drive into work this morning, hooked through the Bluetooth of my car. Then my boss asked to jump in with me last minute as I was needing to run an errand and he needed to go to the same place. As I turned the car on and started reversing out the park, my car automatically synced to your podcast from where I left off super loudly. It was literally on the fart noise Lib made impersonating the 1,000-pound sisters or whatever it was called. And because I was still reversing, I couldn't stop it playing as you girls went on and I literally could have died. My 50-year-old male boss, who always wears a suit and talks extremely formally at all times, didn't say anything and just stared ahead in shock. It was only a 5-minute drive, but it was the most awkward, silent drive of my life as neither of us knew what to say. The embarrassing story won't stop me from listening to your podcast. You guys bring so much sunshine to my week and I appreciate it.
I'm telling you, that boss is now a listener.
Oh, absolutely.
He is a closet Eliza
Who
and
wouldn't
Liberty
want to listen
fan,
to the fart gear?
But it's almost like if you were to play our podcast to like your in-laws or something.
Yeah.
It's not quite appropriate, but I'm telling you, they're all secret
Yeah.
fans. Look, I thoroughly enjoyed today's episode, Liberty.
Me too.
Just a heads up, there'll be a couple of weeks break.
Yeah.
So just as we reset and do more tries, so go back and listen to old episodes. I know you'll miss us. Tell us how much in our DMs. Eliza and Liberty is where you can find us. Thanks for having us as always. Bye now.
Try before you die.